Guten Tag aus Zürich. Ich bin bei Polytechnique Fédérale ETH pour la première étape de la mia inchiesta inside Swiss Foodtech. Today I'm in Lausanne, precisely at a PFL Innovation Park for the second day of my Inside Swiss Foodtech project. Stay tuned. Good morning. Today I'm in Fribourg for the third and last stage of Inside Swiss Foodtech.
Overall, there is a fantastic and very dynamic ecosystem. It's very vibrant and it's filled with people with passion.
So food and ag innovation in Switzerland is thriving. I would actually just say it's having a momentum. So we all know that globally it's difficult times for innovation. There's a lot of back to base, but I don't sense that here. So we still see a lot going on, new players, and the existing one going up.
So in general, the food innovation in Switzerland is extremely dynamic. The particularity is that we have many actors, from startup investors. We even are close to the agriculture. Even if we are a small country, we are in the center of Europe and very well connected with the rest of the world. Extremely well-renowned universities that are doing research at the highest level. We have corporates, many corporates that are key actors as well. And we don't have to forget the cultures. So within Switzerland, we have a large amount of different people coming from different countries, different nationalities that bring different perspectives. So this, for me, is quite unique as an ecosystem. And on top of that, the way that, as well, I believe Switzerland approaches innovation, so it's a center of generating value, Switzerland in itself as a country. So that impacts directly how that relates to food. So it's the combination of all the multiple actors that are conveyed in a relatively small number of kilometers, square kilometers. So this is pretty unique.
Okay.
Wow, it's a very exciting time. I mean, to give you some numbers, we have around about 1,500 startups apply for a couple of programs that Mass Challenge runs, and those numbers have been going up. So if you look at people coming from outside Switzerland wanting to come to Switzerland to meet innovators, meet corporations, meet VCs, the numbers are good. And if you then look at the quality, I also look at the judging scores that I get from the volunteer judges that we have, and I can see the quality is going up as well. So I see a lot of good quantity, and I also see good quality as well.
You know, Switzerland is ranked the first innovative country for 15 years now, and food is a part of this innovation scope. In Switzerland, we have the chance to have a multitude of companies, like from multinational to small companies, working in the food sector. We have as well a rich environment of academic partners, like universities and high schools. So this network of food innovators is rich. In Canton de Fribourg specifically, we speak more about the 3 C's, the cheese, chocolate and coffee, which are the main food business in the canton. And the canton is rich in agriculture and dairy producer, for example.
The breakthroughs from science and research that 2 types of academic institutions are working on. So you have ETH in Zurich and EPFL in Lausanne. They do basic science, is super strong. Yet, that's where we see a little bit more of a struggle of those coming out. And the other one is with the universities of applied sciences, which are maybe projects and technologies of even stronger readiness that, however, are maybe built within institutions that are not yet perfectly set up for creating spin-offs, and oftentimes there are also corporate sponsors that already pre-own a little bit the research before it even gets to market. So if it doesn't get to market with that company, it kind of stays stuck. So I think that there is a great opportunity from the Swiss ecosystem there. The second is that there is a high number of really exciting startups in Switzerland, in food tech and across the agro food chain. Some of the most passionate people I've seen, some of the most driven people I've seen. The fact that Planted exists gives a reason for everybody to believe this is worth pursuing, because they do things really, really well. As it's true for Switzerland, us, and Europe, and potentially the world, too much in food tech has been developed around the tech part, not enough about the food. So at the end of the day, as part of this industry, we need to remember that people eat food and not technology. And what I mean by that is that if I look around the ecosystem, at the risk of overgeneralizing a little bit the picture, which is unfair to some that are doing great things, that there are a lot of solutions looking for problems instead of the other way around. It's difficult already to start with the problem and then find a solution. It's even more difficult to stick the focus with the problem, because it's a matter of also how you allocate resources in the startup. If you have 19 R&D managers and one sales guy, then you know where the focus is and where most of the time is dedicated. So you need to absolutely balance this out so that people focus more not only on technical scalability, but also on demand scalability. Startups in Switzerland and the ecosystem for food in Switzerland is vibrant, and I've seen many examples of startups looking at it this way. But I believe that we could do even more. And the third one, which I think is an integral part of the food industry, is the current industry. So the large players, the medium-sized players. I think Switzerland is extremely rich and tight of amazing players alongside the value chain. And I doubt that there is any food innovation that can happen in isolation from the industry. So that the fact that we are so close to this industry, that it's so approachable, that it's so open to the world of startups and ecosystem is actually one of the major strengths, if you will, for Switzerland, that you're going to end up talking with Nestle, Givaudan, Bühler, but also smaller players and every Planted to create any conversation around innovation. You need, this industry is also the one that has been needing to tighten the belt a little bit when it comes to early stage discovery and exploration. So the budgets and the strategic attention given to discovery work and exploration has been decreasing. So the rate of internal, meaning that and some companies are already doing this, the focus is moving rather toward scaling up mature innovations rather than working with startups really early stage, which is also an opportunity. So I think
our strength doesn't lie in one place, and that's probably our strength, that it's many things coming together. It really arises in the academic world with the universities, the polytechnical universities and the applied science universities, where we both get talents and IP from. And then it also comes together with that we have a lot of large enterprises here and active players, and the proximity for everybody in the country, together with, again, the regulatory framework, which is quite business friendly here. And then I dare say there is a culture of courage and hunger that we then spin all this together. And that's why maybe we'll talk about the secret recipe now. So, but that is really that's really the strength lies within this diversity. It's really like a microbiome. It's many different things coming together. And I think that's also why Switzerland is, for so many years, they rated the #1 innovation economy in the world. Well, there's a lot of things we can still do better. In some areas, there's still some risk averseness, which means there's the struggle that innovation always has to go through. When it comes to funding the scaling of innovation, it is not that easy here either to attract funds, and often you do need to go outside Switzerland to seek the scaling funds. Whereas we do have a lot of talents here, it is really an extremely talent-rich nation. The cost of living, the cost of any manual labor and so on is very high. So those are some of the challenges or the obstacles that we need to overcome.
The point of strength I alluded a moment ago is the combination of multiple actors from the private sector, public sector, academic sector. even, of course, the consumers that play a very strong role. That and the multiple cultures that convey and the opportunities that are given to multiple cultures to come to the country and also contribute to that. So the ability to create an ecosystem, and the ecosystem to have possibility to interact, because there is investment, there is sufficient amount of investment and attraction of those investments, and there are elements that help catalyze that. The companies that can make that happen, the consumers that can somehow you can test lots of things, or you can show to the world lots of things. So for me, that is probably the uniqueness that we have here. If we think about weak areas, it could be that sometimes you are in a region, and just because you are in a certain place in the world, you might tend to look less outside or further away. So for me, a weakness could be, or an opportunity is always to look outside. So broader, go further to Asia, go further to other type of universities, other type of innovation ecosystems. So have this ability to permanently connect with the outside, because within Switzerland we managed to connect extremely well, and this is again thanks to the number of actors, the small amount of kilometers, and the willingness to make that happen.
Well, I think the biggest challenge right now for startups is funding, and you can look at this through different types of lenses. So let's do a general lens for like a general startup, right? Well, when they look at funding, they can see the funding is shrinking. I mean, it's probably at least a third down in the last couple of years, and so there's less money around than there has been to help startups start growing. And I'm particularly talking about funding for a startup that's raised over $1 million. So you see that less startups, I think, more startups are having trouble when they start to raise that million plus. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you still see the really good projects that are out there attracting funding. But some of the other projects maybe not quite so strong, or maybe they've got funding like 3-4 years ago, they're not getting funding. And that's probably not so always a bad thing, because that means startups need to de-risk their propositions. So what you see is a lot of VCs saying, hey, how can you make your business more profitable quicker? So they go back to business model development, they go back to bootstrapping, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And also you see some founders realize that the market might not be ready for their idea, and in which case these are talented people, they could then spend their time doing something else. So that's one big trend I would say is the funding situation. Other things you'd see from a corporate perspective, you see still a lot of engagement. So Mass Challenge is mainly working with large food corporations in Switzerland, and you see a lot of corporate engagement still. So there's a lot of energy from corporates trying to find solutions to their problems. And so you see a lot of engagement with startups in that area to try and find these collaborations between startups and corporates to try and help each other solve problems and generate value for each other.
Thank you, mate.
I mean, there are always challenges. I think if you look at startups coming from outside the region, the question we get asked a lot is like, where should I be based in Europe? And many people are looking at Switzerland, but they're also looking at other competition as well. And principally Holland and the Netherlands could be a really good place to be based. And so you see sometimes startups going through that dilemma. So you see them delving into talking with people in the canton, like Innovo, for example, and you see some startups deciding to relocate here. When they look at maybe the cost of living in Switzerland, they might think it's bad, but when you look at the cost of overall business and some of the grants that are available here, then Switzerland can be quite a favourable place, particularly as you've also got a lot of corporates here as well. So one perceived barrier can be geography and cost, but when you really get into it, it's probably not as obvious as many startups think.
Point of strength, I think we are a rather small countries with a high potential for innovation, but as well a lot of tradition. And this combination of traditions and innovations for me is a strong point of strength, which I like a lot. I think point of weakness would be more that the fact that we are small, we need to collaborate, we need to be stronger together to be able to have an impact globally.
So
is to bring all of these opportunities together, of all of this breakthrough research in science that is so far maybe remaining trapped within the academic ecosystem. We are able to pull out the best of these technologies and have them impact the market in the most effective way. That would be amazing. What if we can grant startups the resources, the playbook, the network, the team that it's necessary to have on day zero to build startups that are meant to be scalable on both the technical and commercial perspective, and that's truly answering problems. And indeed, that's the third point. What if we work tightly with the industry to identify those problems that we know we absolutely need to solve, and yet are just a little bit too far out for a company to invest money in, because maybe they're 5 years out and their budget, they cannot cover the necessary early stage research to get there. And this is a little bit how we thought we could bring this opportunity for not only technological innovation to fix the taste and texture and price of sustainable food that we want to create, but also the systemic innovation to bridge these opportunities at the systemic level. So what if you could unlock these trap technologies? What we could bring the best network and resources on day zero? What if we could focus on those problems that the industry really want to have solved, but that deserve maybe a startup approach? And this became our idea of a venture studio, a company builder. So Food Founder Studio does exactly this. You bring together some of the best technologies, actually from across Europe. We thought that we wanted to give ourselves even more chances to find the best technologies. Set of private and strategic investors together that are really keen to building the future of food. They're not scared of it anymore, because we know the trend is down, but I don't think there has ever been a better time to invest in food now, because the lesson learned after the first wave of experiences are massive. So what we're doing now, we're really building things from maturity, and investors that want to be part of this wave are here for the long term. And the third point is, what if we bring together some of the best founders that are, the best founders to actually bring these startups to success, to impact the world, to bring these technologies to impact the world in a most successful way. And, we're doing it. So it's been in the planning for a while. We've been stealth for a while, but right now and today, sitting in front of me, you don't see it, but we have the founder of our first startup, Daria. She's just amazing. Out of 200 people, she is the one founder we all want to rally behind. And she's bringing to market a technology that is able to remove the off flavors of legumes and solve not only the taste issue at the plant-based level, but also the cost of the flavor masters necessary to compensate for that, and the fear of overprocessing, a technology that we licensed from a top European university. And we also have the first set of investors that is backing up this new initiative. There are no other venture studios focused on food, even across Europe for sure, but even the world to a degree right now, that are really doing what we do. So extremely excited to be part of the food tech ecosystem of Switzerland right now, and to provide a new angle and a perspective to it, and becoming a new type of platform, but to really proactively, and also with a very hands-on and entrepreneurial perspective, create the solutions we need. So not just support, which is absolutely key, but also create new seeds of opportunities and bring them to market in the most effective way. So
Yeah, I think that recipe or sauce is one very much in development, because what we see is, with being such a small food nation and everybody knowing everybody and be so interconnected, we also think and act for each other. So when we see a good opportunity, it's easily shared with the one who can use that opportunity, or teaming up to do something together. And whether that is for funding a research program and applying the innovation to that, or it's about a potential business partner, I think this trust and collaboration that is really growing, that is something hard to find elsewhere in the world. And it's a part of the secret sauce.
Start by always understanding. So I will go back. So secret recipe is always keep your growth mindset. Always start with, most likely I don't know how to make it happen. Most likely there is someone that knows better on one specific area. How can I surround myself by the people that know the best?
Right.
And then that is one thing. And the other secret recipe, I think, is not only for food, but it's in general for innovation, is the laser focus on your objective every single time. We tend to sometimes focus on too many things. You always need to focus on the most important thing you have to resolve at that immediate time to prove and go to the next step. And if we build on food, is keep an eye that food needs to be for everyone. We need to serve all type of populations, all type of needs. So not only focus on one, let's say, specific area in the world, but try to look for the people that need the most, the deficiencies. There's always something to do for the vast amount of the population.
I think if you look at, again, what we specialize in, which is corporates and working together with startups, it's trying to get people into the proof of concept stage, and then out of that and into actually meaningful work quicker. And usually the number one reason why startup corporate collaboration doesn't work is lack of strategic alignment. So the more clarity that startups have got, which are what corporates are looking for, and the more clarity that corporates have got of what startups' capabilities are, then the higher chance then there will be meaningful POCs. And then hopefully coming out of that, if they can set KPIs, then you get into what I guess we're all looking for, which is that startups' ideas being scaled by corporates, so that the good intentions and the good deeds that startups are trying to do actually deliver some impact. So I'd say that probably that early phase of helping startups show that their ideas can operate at scale via corporates I would say is a good secret ingredient, particularly if we try and deliver the things we're trying to do, which is trying to deliver impact. Yeah, I mean, we as I said earlier on, we've had applications from over 2,500 startups for our programs, about 1,500 of which are food startups, and they're coming from all over the world. So it's covering like 112 countries in 2025. So you see there's a big demand for help and people wanting to come here. And if you look around in the ecosystem, I mean, I've been working on this for 6 years, Mesh Challenge has been here for 10. You can really see that the food ecosystem is growing. So the number of, let's say, capital providers and VCs is growing, and we're attracting more people into Switzerland, even though investment is a pretty rough climate right now. You see things like the Swiss Food and Nutrition Valley. And actually earlier on today, I was actually with the Food and Agriculture Organization in Geneva, talking to some of their leaders from Rome about how we can leverage Switzerland and programs like the Mesh Challenge to actually help people in the global south fight malnutrition and improve food security. So Switzerland has a lot of things going for it, and it's a really nice magnet. And if you look at the activity we see among startups, investors and corporates, you can see more activity across the last 6 years since we've been measuring. So yeah, it is bubbling up, and it continues to be the rising tide that is lifting all the boats, I hope. Okay. So we're running an experiment this year with the FAO, and we run an accelerator program, and this year we work with them to increase the outreach of startups from the global south, and they've actually taken some of those startups, and we have 5 of them actually joined us in the cohort this year. Okay. And overall, there's another 5 startups who couldn't get travel visas into Switzerland, but we've got 10 startups who we've connected to our corporates. And the idea being is that the FAO has got amazing networks in areas where it's harder to reach startups, where there may be some brilliant ideas. Take Africa, for example. And if we can give those African startups opportunities of meeting some of the corporates that are here in Switzerland, then some of those solutions that they've got could actually be scaled. So FAO's got the reach, we've got the knowledge with the corporates and the community of mentors that we work with. You know, can we help those startups that the FAO has found actually get their ideas moving through some of our corporate partners?
Okay. The pillars supposed to be agriculture or something for hunger, for nutrition, or this.
Yeah. The theme is fighting malnutrition and trying to improve food security. As being, actually in October we have an award running with the FAO where we'll give away prize money to the top startup out of that group, and we'll give away 10,000 Swiss francs. No equity taken in exchange.
Okay.
There would be 4 ingredients. I would say the first one would be collaboration. I strongly believe that together we are stronger, and it's important that we have this collaboration to have more impact in our results, basically. The second one, which is important for me for cluster food and nutrition, is to keep proximity with the actors. So I strongly believe as well that it's important to keep contact, to know the actors, and to really have this close collaboration and proximity. I would say patient. I think in food sector, we are passionate. I'm passionate with food. And I believe it's important when you want to reach outstanding results. And the last one, I would say keep like tradition. I believe it's important to keep our roots, our tradition. It's very important in Canton of Fribourg here. We have the cheese, chocolate, coffee, and it's all these traditions around food. And I believe these 4 ingredients together brings food innovation.